Air goes in, happiness comes out. That is what we want to think while we are breathing and giving our speech. So you got a day or two to practice and you keep running into this one part or a couple parts where you are running out of breath and you're trying to figure out, how can I fix it? I have a before and after solution, preventative and fixing it. And it might seem simple, but it's things that you have to overwrite in your body after the moment in question. This is fixing a problem that's already occurred. You need to find a way to recollect your breath and get back on track. So when you are alone practicing, even if it doesn't happen when you're alone, you need to practice and exaggerate how you recover in a natural way. How do I get out of the situation? Exaggerate it. Make it into your body muscle memory. You will find that whether it's that part or a different part of your speech, you will have a way to recover that you're used to and that you know works for you. Now let's go to before the moment in question. I would bet you that if you're running into this problem, there's probably a sentence or more that are a little too long, where you can't get your breath, or it is a subject that you are incredibly passionate about, which is awesome. But you start getting passionate and excited and you go and you go and you go and you go and then you're out of breath. So what I would say is just rework the area. Rework it so the sentences are shorter or you're more aware, and mark where your breaths are going to be in that section. Marking your breaths may seem like a super simple thing, but you're actually overwriting the habits that your body has, and that process is incredibly difficult. That's why for days, I think you should only do it for that section. However, if you have more time and you have like a week, that is how I think you beat your breathing problem. That is how you say, I'm no longer a victim to losing my breath control. I have a system that will help me feel more comfortable and guide me through my speech. Mark your breaths. Again, it seems so simple, but I promise you that as you start working it and you're aware and you take the breath where you mark, it'll be fine. But the moment you get in front of people, if you haven't worked it enough, you will go back to your habits. So work it over and over and over again. Where do I mark my breaths? The easiest place that you can mark where you're going to take a breath for the sake of filling up your tank to get to the end of a thought is between thought groups. If you're writing your speech, this is more like ends of paragraphs. If it's outlines, it's between Roman numerals. You probably have a good chunk of time to transition, and you can take that breath that guides you to the end. Within those thought groups, periods, completions of ideas. You don't want to breathe at every period to fill your tank. You're just trying to figure out where's the best way for me to breathe so I can get to the end of the thought. Commas are where some people want to take a breath. There's a little bit of an issue there in terms of breathing to get to the end of the thought. If you have a list of something and you love them, like animals, and you are trying to get to the end of that list and you are breathing on every comma, then suddenly you have dogs, cats, horses, tree. It's hard to even think about in the moment because you start breathing and the anxiety builds, and it's just not a situation you want to be in. Whereas you can say, hey, I really love these animals, and they are dogs, cats, octopuses, fish, lemurs, monkeys. Suddenly you can think. So be careful breathing on commas. If it is something that you are using as an effect or something that is specific, then by all means. But otherwise, try to keep the breaths that you're using to get you to the end, periods, and between thought groups. Use these things we've talked about. Mark your breaths, learn how you're gonna fix a problem before it happens. Make the thoughts before problem areas more succinct and controllable for you, and then go to that minutes video and figure out what things you can do there right before your speech so you remind yourself to be in your lungs, in your body, and control that breath. If you practice these things, it will help you get to the end. Here is the killer about all of this. It will only be so efficient if you are breathing incorrectly. What? I'm breathing incorrectly? It's not that it's incorrect, it's inefficient. It does what it needs to do for you in your everyday life, but for things like this, It doesn't help you very much. This video is already too long. It's a little bit different in terms of a habit for your life instead of a habit for a speech. So it will be another video that eventually will be here. Hopefully as soon as possible. If these are things you had not thought about and you think they will help you, please like and subscribe. If not, then I guess bye, and I'll take your engagement. Go out, practice your speech, have fun when you give the speech. Remember that is the whole point. Air goes in, happiness comes out. Not my logo. A shirt I bought from a car store, and I just thought it worked at this moment. Cool. All right, have fun. Watch these videos for breathing. You got it. Break a leg. Bye.